everyone, welcome to Myrtle Knits. My name's Liz and this is my 4th episode. I've got some notes as usual, so you might hear some page turning just so I can reference what I want to show you. I think I've got a couple of new bits this week and I've had a good couple of weeks. Hope everybody else has and everybody's well. I went off to Dorset, which is a couple of hours down the coast, and went to see my daughter and her girlfriend. And we had a lovely time. So we stayed midweek in a van, like one of these static vans, and that was really nice. Took the dog with us, so we had some walking. We met up and we walked on sandbanks. That's a really sandy beach, but the weather wasn't the best last week, and it was very, very windy, and we got completely sandblasted. I had a little video. If I could find out to pop it in, I would show you, because it was quite something to see the sand really travelling across the beach and then up onto the path where we were on. And I was crunching sand for some hours afterwards, and it was like having a little exfoliation on my face every time I rubbed it. So, but it was still fun, and we did the same again on another day. We went to Bournemouth Beach, which again is a really lovely sandy beach. But again, it was a little bit windy, not as bad, but it was still blustery. And we've been to Bournemouth many times, and not that we've walked along perhaps the stretch that we did lots of times, but there were some goats. They keep goats on the other side, so you've got the beach side and the sea, and then you've got the path, and then to the right there's a steep slope that goes up to the roads, and on there is goats that are kept, that are keeping everything under control, I suppose, all the plants and trees. But they were lovely. Again, I got a photo. If I find a way of popping that in at the end of the video, I will. But like I say, that's what I've really been up to the past couple of weeks. And like I say, this is my 4th episode. And if we get into the knitting stuff now, I will include a little bit at the end about what I'm watching, and also a bit about my planting. Not that there's a great deal going on there either, but I'll let you know, so that anybody that's only here for the knitting can turn off if they want to. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you again. As always, I'll always do that at the beginning of my videos, just to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and anybody who likes my video, just thank you. It's really nice. I'm still really enjoying it. We'll just see how, like I say, see how it goes. I'll keep going until I don't keep going. But anyway, hopefully that'll be for a long while. I'd like to think so. It's been going on, which we've sort of covered with our little Dorset trip. And also from last time, I showed a previous knit of mine, which was a little cowlet with rabbits on. Now, this was the chart that I showed last time, and I said I'd pop it on Instagram, so that if anybody wants to use the chart, please feel free. You know, it's just something I made a few years ago, and I'm happy to share it and you to freely use it. My Instagram details will be added into the notes at the bottom of this, but first of all they go on to the my Ravelry, I can't think of the name, it's one of the groups. I've got a group on there that I've just started, and like I say, I hope to add in the future, add things to that. And one of the things that I put on there is the notes from the video, so you can go back and look, but they will also be on the end of the video, and any links I can do, I will obviously pop on there as well for you. Okay, so that's that, the rabbit chart. So we're on to finished objects. I have at least got some this time, but it is things you've already seen, but it's nice that they're, say, finished, nearly finished. One of the socks does need blocking, but that's all really. That won't take very long at all. I'll probably do that today. So the first thing I've got is my diamond foam doodle sock. So this is the one that is blocked already, that I've already shown you. And ta-da, I've finished the second one. So second sock syndrome, you know, does kick in, but I'm pushing past it and I'm managing to do 2 matching socks each time. So that's really good and that's fun. So those will be completely done and will be being worn. I don't suppose you'll see those ones again, but I will link. It is one of my patterns, but I'll also link the yarns I used because I know that's quite interesting sometimes, especially the colours. I mean, I love those two colours together. And I've got another project. The plan's a new knit along that I'm going to do, and again I'm going to use that brown. I'm really into that brown. It's a coffee bean by Paintbox yarns, and I'm putting like a really light blue with it rather than a brighter blue to do the next knit along, which is the slip stitches, which if you watched my previous videos you know that I was actually started the slip stitch theme in March, which should have been under the sea theme, so I got a bit ahead of myself, but I haven't, because I will stop that one. I like to play by the rules, so I will start a complete new sock with this slip stitch design that I'm going to go with, and hopefully I might bring that out as a pattern. It's a bit similar to what I did here, but this one here was colourwork, stranded colourwork, and I really enjoyed it, but I never gave it a name, and I certainly didn't do a second sock, as you can see, because they're the actual two I wear together, but we'll get to those in a moment. Okay, so where were we going? So the next thing, so that's my foam doodle sock that was all completed. The next thing I've got is the ones for the correct knit along for March, is my clownfish socks. So these were a simple striped sock. Again, I will list all the yarns. These are, there's a Mothy and the Squid. It's an independent dyer with this orange sorbet, and then it's some Opal yarn, I believe, with these ones, because that's another one I really like, Opal yarns, West Yorkshire spinny yarns. I love all of those. So these are now complete, so I'm really looking forward to wearing those. But with this, well, I'll come back to it actually. There's something in the plan, so I'll pop these just down here, and we'll come back to those. Like I say, I will list everything about those yarns, so if you want to use those colours exactly, you can. You know, make a clownfish pair of socks yourself, which would be lovely. Okay, so our previous knits, that's what all my finished objects. I mean, it's good, it's two, I suppose, but I feel as if I've done ever such a lot of knitting over the past couple of weeks, especially when I was away. I love taking a bit of knitting. I do a little bit of knitting in the car on the way down, and I found I do normally like a new project. If I'm going away, I love to have a new project, new yarn, new project. But I thought, no, I'm going to work on what I've got and try and finish some items. And I think I did fairly well, because although I haven't got complete finished items, I did finish some bits. But like I say, I will show you those because they're actually in the what's on my needles section. So my next thing I want to show you is a previous knit. So in my first video I said that I'd perhaps show you previous knits as we go along on what I've done. And this one here, you can see a bit of where I've put two ends together as best as possible, kitchen stitch. And this is my pillow cow. And again, this is that Rowan Island blend yarn, which I absolutely love. Again, I will put the colours that are used for it in the description and all the details about the yarn. But it's so soft and warm. And this one, I think I showed you my Squashham's cow last time. Oh no, not last time, maybe a couple of times before. And it had a half a twist. This one's got a full twist, which I quite like. So once it's on, and you just put it into your neck, and I like the look of that. And this is quite nice. It matches my winter coat. Although not that I would mind that it doesn't match. I'm quite happy just to, you know, if you've knit something, I'm going to wear it if it goes if it goes with the outfit or not. So that's that one. So that's a previous knit of mine, and so we'll put details of where you can find it if you want to. But also just if you want the details of what I used for that particular cow, because you might be making a cow yourself and think, oh, I haven't decided on the yarn yet, but like the look of that. So it'd be helpful, it'd be useful, so that's why I'll pop it on. Now, what have we got next? So that was my previous knit. Oh, on my needles. So the first item on my needles, again, this is previous episodes, if you want to go on the end of those, you'll see that a lot of the stuff is listed if you want to get the information before I've popped the notes up on this one. Because a lot of this, apart from what I've now called my winter woolly rather than a Christmas knit, because I know not everybody, I get excited about Christmas, I could talk about it every day, but I know that some people don't want to hear about it, not had summer yet, so you know they want to wait a while. So I'm going to call it my winter woolly, getting ahead of things and just ready for when winter comes. But actually it will be a different style of jumper, but we'll show you that nearer the time. Okay, so my bedtime knit, which I finally remembered to bring down last week to show you, I've actually completed a complete sock. It's not blocked yet, but they're just really nice. This is just a simple knit 3 and purl 1 design, and compared to, let's say, excuse me, just I lean forward, you know, the size of this one, although this fits really well as well, but there's not, oh, well, there is a fair bit of stretch. I knit fairly loose with my colour work, it's not too tight, but these ones just stretch out. They're just going to be, I just think they're going to just fit, well they do, they just fit your foot so well with that extra tightness that a ribbed knit brings along. So I'm looking forward to getting the second one of those done. These are really, I showed my daughter and they're just so autumny, so they'll definitely be done by then, but I would think of them each time and they will be my autumn socks. I'll perhaps call them autumn socks, not that they're going to be a design. I might put them up as a free pattern, but because it's just a 3 by 1 rib, I won't actually put it as one of my designs. Okay, so if I pop that over here so I don't get in a muddle, which I've shown you and what I haven't. The next thing is, oh yeah, we've seen this a couple of times and I've not gone forward too much with it. I've still got the second one to do. Into the second one to start, actually. I've not even got it on the needles, which is not great, but I think I'm probably a knitter that just likes the knit for myself, because these are my daughter, and although I know she really appreciates all knits that I do for her, I think I'm a bit sad that these ones aren't mine, and I have said I'm gonna do one of these myself. And this is the pattern by Jennifer Bewley. Again, it'll be, all the notes will be listed, and I've used I believe West Yorkshire spinny yarns are the pink yarns, and then the black yarn is an opal yarn. But again, I will list that down, but I absolutely love these. And this is the one where I was going to learn the new technique, the ladderback jacquard. She does a great tutorial, which I said last time, if you buy a pattern you'll be able to see it, but you can actually, she's done a YouTube video, so I think you can just find it on YouTube. And so if that's a new technique to you, it was really well explained and well demonstrated. And I had, from my last videos I said I was going to do a kind of a learn with me, so I will show you what I've learned. It won't be a tutorial by any means. If you find it useful and you find it helpful, that's really good, but it will just be me showing you what I've learned really as a new technique. And I said last time about doing it, and I hadn't, but I've got the other tripod out today that hopefully, if all things going well, I'll have it recorded, and maybe it'll either be up there with this one and I'll put a link for it, or next time I'll be able to tell you where it is and that it's on there. Okay, so that's that one, and the next one is, again, it's something you saw last time. Now, with the ladderback jacquard with the heart explosion, I ended up not doing it, and I just carried my floats as I would normally, which is why I just crossed the yarns. But because I wanted to try the ladderback jacquard, I did show you some of these work, just the little bits where I've gone wrong, where they say how important it is to hold the yarn in front. And I don't think I did a couple of times, but I did do this sock, and I've yet to cast on the next one. But this is what I use the ladderback jacquard with, and I absolutely love it. And what's really nice, this is it feels like it would be tight, and it did. They said last time that it felt like it looked like it puckered slightly, where you, certainly with these joins where you join the next block of 8 stitches, but it's incredibly stretchy. And I think it's because of this separate fabric that the ladder back jacquard creates. It's just springy. I've tried it on, it's lovely because it's a nice thick sock, fits really well for me. I tend to do especially with colourwork, a 64 stitch sock if I'm doing a stripe or like the 3x1 rib. I quite often would do a 60 stitch sock, and it depends as well with my design. Sometimes I would just doodle a design and then I would try and break it up and see what that I fit into, either add a bit more design or change it around slightly just to make it fit really. Okay, so that's the Chequers sock, and then the Berlin sock, which was so the Berlin sock was a new to me designer, the first one that I found. I haven't got a new to me designer like kind of a shine the light one today, but I thought maybe I would do that not on every episode. Okay, but this is one I can show you from, I think I'd just done a small amount of it to about here last time, and as you can see that's coming along really nicely. And again, it's knits and pearls. It reminds me of my classic myrtle in how it feels when you're knitting it, but again I'm really happy with that. And as you can see, it's in the coffee bean, the Paintbox yarns coffee bean. So this is a designer and it's a Berlin sock, but I will link, just in case you want to find that design, I will link that as well for you. So that's that one. Oh, and the next, let's say we won't mention the C word, but the winter woolly that I'm doing, I can show you the colours that I'm doing. I've knit most of the body. I couldn't decide what I was going to do, whether I was going to do a tank top, a cardigan, a jumper. I've decided on a jumper. And as I got going, knitting, I think I got onto it was just literally the first ball of yarn, and I thought I didn't buy enough of this cream. So what I've done is I bought 5 balls. So I've used 3 on the body because I know that it'll be under 1 each for the sleeve. Anything left I would do a bit more body because I do want it a bit longer, which I think would probably take it up to where I stop for the sleeves. Now I'm actually going to do a completely new thing for me. I've decided I want to do it as a raglan, which I've done raglans before, but I've knit in the round from the bottom up, and I'm actually going to try and join it all together. I've seen a YouTube clip which was, I decided, actually I think it just came up because I was thinking of how to do it, and I'd come up with something in my head, and I saw this clip, this video, and actually it's pretty much what I was thinking. So I'm hoping it's going to work. I've been doing knitting maths, which any kind of maths for me is quite challenging, but I get there. I think I'll bring my notebook that I was doing all my workings out in one day to show you. It's quite amusing. It will make no sense whatsoever, because even I look back and I think that makes no sense to me whatsoever. What was I thinking? What was I doing? So like I say, this is coming along nicely. I've put my markers in where I've decided to do some increases on either side of, just under the arm so they don't really show, just to get it to the right size, ready to join everything else. The only concern I've got, which again I'll find out when I know I've done some measurements and with my gauge that I did, my swatch, and I'm just hoping that this section ends up not too tight with the way I'm decreasing, and I'm hoping that I get a neck that isn't too wide. I quite like something that sits in my neck really. we shall see. I will keep you informed. But because I didn't have enough yarn whilst I was away before I came back, so I literally had it to arrive back to nearly, yeah, I think it arrived the day we came back or the next day. I got this other, so this is one of the Paintbox yarns as well. Just put that in front of me there. Maybe the light's catching it, isn't it? Oh, there we go. This is 50% wool and 50% acrylic. Budget-wise, I just think for me to be able to knit the bigger items, that's good for me. But as I always think, just knit with what gives you pleasure, really. I mean, the better you can buy within your budgets and with what you like as well, really, because not everybody can obviously wear wool. I was unsure because I can have all sorts of allergies, so I was unsure with me how much I would get away with, but actually it seems to be going quite well. So I think people should just really enjoy knitting and knit with what they want to knit with, really. Environmentally, my jumpers aren't going anywhere soon. They're gonna stay with me. Washing wise, if anything getting into the system, I try to air more than wash, just to keep my knits nice as well, really. So anyway, I digress somewhat. This is a pistachio, so I thought that would go nice with this cream. With the light, it's not doing it any favours really, because it's, as you can see, it's just catching there. I think I said in my previous video, I've got a double set of doors next to me, which is lovely, brings in the light. I've got the door open today because there's a sunroom outside and it's letting in a nice lot of heat, so we've actually got some sunshine today. Not all that terrible wind we had last week in the sandstorm. But like I say, it does probably wash that colour out a bit. I think, does that help a little bit, I think? So yes, I think that's going to go, that would probably sit either here, or I might start from the underarm, depending how far I get with leftover yarn I've got. And then I've got design that I'm going to be embroidering over the top, which I did mention. I think it's going to be covered in little trees, and there's a photo somewhere. I'm going to try and find that as well, really, so I can show you of my granddad many years ago in a lovely knitted jumper, which I'm going to guess that my nan knitted for him. She was a very keen knitter. That's where I get all my knitting from. So I'll keep you posted on that one. I've done ever such a lot on that, so I don't think I'm going to be long before I've got the main jumper done, and I may hold off on the trees because it's going to be a winter willy, but maybe wear it for a bit without the actual design on it. So I'll decide all that. At some point I might get too excited and want to add the trees, and that'll be that. It will be finished completely. Now, what have we got next? So that's everything on my needles. Hopefully I'll have some new things to show you next time. Now, what's in the frame? So today I've got my M&D socks, which are these ones here. They're called M&D because they're Moira and David. It's a series we used to watch. I don't really like the name. It's Schitt's Creek, SCHITTS Creek. It's fine, but I really enjoyed the series, and David is one of my favourite characters, as is Moira. They're all good. They're just so funny. So that's that one, and because this is when I used to do my I can't work out where to, there. I used to have the second sock syndrome, and I just used to always wear odd socks, but this is probably my oddest pair, because normally I try and match with a colour theme or do the same pattern in different colours, but I just match this with a sock that I knit that's got absolutely no name, although it is going to look like my slip stitch sock a little bit, well, part of it is, which I'll obviously show you as and when that's done. See, they don't really go together, but I'm fine with that. That's like my children, I think, many years ago, when you try and give around some chores and get them helping out around the house, and I would give them you know, the washing to fold, and well, my socks never got matched, and they were just like, I don't. It takes too long to match socks, so we don't, and I'm okay with that. Surprisingly for me, but also for the past, this will be my 3rd year. I'm going to do it again this year to raise awareness for anti-bullying, and there's an anti-bullying alliance here in the UK, and one of the things they do, they have a week where they really promote. It's all year round. I follow them on Instagram. I put a link for them, and you know, take a visit, and just, you know, for that, whether it's for the educational side, or you just want to see what they get up to, or just you've been affected yourself. You know, they're there and contactable, and they do a great job. I think they, you know, it's absolutely brilliant what they do. So when they come around to do their anti-bullying week, they have a theme normally, and I try and do something relating to that theme. And then the first year I popped the pattern on as a to sell at a fair price, but nothing sold, which is fine. That's no problem at all. But so, because I was going to give some money to go to charity, but it was a bit. I'm trying to think how to explain these socks. They were very specific in what they are. But anyway, I will show them to you one day. I love them, and but I took a different approach the following year when I did a design, and I put those on as a free pattern, and to raise some awareness. So that was quite good. Quite a few people visited, so I thought, well, I've touched quite a few people and let them know, and hopefully it's raised some awareness, or if they're, you know, they're going through something themselves, perhaps it's given them a place to visit and to go and look at. Or the other thing is the fun side that they do is they do an odd sock day. I will get a lot more into this, although I'm talking about it quite a bit at the moment. Nearer the time, it's not until November, but they do an odd sock day, and they encourage, especially schools. It's not just schools, lots of people do it, but they encourage odd socks, and I do that. I tag them, I post it on Instagram, tag them, and let's say I put a pattern out there. I'm not sure if anybody actually that, you know, downloaded it ever knit it. I did sort of ask that I'd love to have seen it, that if they could show me, and actually tag the Anti-Bullying Alliance as well, and just to spread that awareness, spread that information, so people know where to go if they need any help with bullying. So I will be doing something this year, but I digress again. So these are my oddest pair of socks, but like we just discussed about, one of the reasons I wear odd socks is you know, a very good cause, very good, you know, good reason to wear a pair of odd socks, I say. Okay, we'll move on. Now, my next thing I've got is, I'm going to go back to the Clownfish socks, because this is the sort of section about some plans I have, and one of my plans is, if anybody's interested, I wasn't going to put this up as a pattern because it's just a striped sock, but actually I thought I might put this up as my April pattern. I try and do one a month, but it's worked out the past few months, but it can be a bit of a challenge sometimes. But I'll pop this up, I think, as a free pattern, and start a group on Ravelry just to say, show me your stripes. So that would be really, you know, it'd be really lovely to see what colours people use, and the stripe, what type of stripes they use. Like I say, I think this is a 5, a 3 and a 1, and all the different designs that you can incorporate stripes with. Just might be a bit of fun, and everybody can chatter on there, and it just might be a nice ongoing one, and then maybe one day I'll change it to more of a theme, that like these ones were on a totally different knit along and they were under the sea, but maybe I'll look for specific colours, or something that relates to a place or a TV series. Also, let me know what you think. If you just want to add a comment, like I said, there's not lots of comments I've had, but I've tried to reply to everybody because I really appreciate it. That interaction is really nice. Let me know what you think, and like I say, once they're done and I've got a pattern for them, I will create a link as well, and also a group chat to say about your show me your striped socks. But anyway, that's those. And the other plan is to the new technique video with the ladder back jacquard. Watch this space. Maybe not. We shall see. And then my other plans was my winter woolly work in progress in all sorts of ways. So, actually knitting it and also designing it as I go. So I shall keep you informed on that as well with those plans. And then my other plan is I've got the April knit along with the grocery girls to do, and with the correct theme this time, which is slip stitches. I shall get started on that, and hopefully, I can't decide whether I will finish it and then release it as a pattern, or it might be something I can show you. I think I'll probably show you anyway as I go along. No harm in that, is there? I don't think. Yeah, I could do that. And I think that's it really as far as the knitting goes. I think that's everything I've got to show you this time and chat to you about. Anything I've missed off that I think, oh, I wish I'd said that, or again, that would be, you'll find that all in the notes. But the next things I want to say is what's on the box. So what's on the telly at the moment, what we've been watching. And one of the things I think, I don't think I said the previous episodes because it's actually been on for a little while, and it's the last one on Saturday, I believe. I think they're all flying out to Disneyland in America today, and that's from Saturday Night Takeaway here in the UK. It's great. I don't know if you've Ant McPartland and Declan O'Donnelly, so Ant and Dec, they host that, and it's a very funny show. I don't think there's a week goes past where it doesn't have me laughing out loud, chuckling away in the series. So they're always good to watch, those boys. They do make me laugh. We've watched Gogglebox. I have to be careful with Gogglebox though, because there's lots of other things I like to watch. So Married at First Sight is one of them. I'm watching that at the moment as well, the Australian one, and they do cover clips. So I find I have to watch them as they come up. I actually have to watch them, otherwise Gogglebox shows them and shows me bits that I've not seen yet, and I think, oh, that's not a surprise now, is it? Okay, and the other thing is The Bay. That's really good. That's a kind of a whodunit, a police drama. Again, that's a series that there's four, I think there's 4 of them now, 4 series, and we've watched the first 2, and I thought there's a new one come out, and so I went to watch that, but my husband said, well, we've not watched 3 yet, so we're just on the 3rd one, and it's very good. And then we can go straight on with the 4th one. So we're enjoying that together, and also we've been watching some Yellowstone, but we're kind of dipping in and out of that one. That was a recommended one by a friend, and it's got, she sold it to me with the scenery, and it really has. It's got some beautiful scenery. It's absolutely gorgeous there. And that's it, I think, with what's on the box. We've obviously watched our MasterChef, the Australian one, in between. That's another dip in, dip out one. And then we've moved to my planting. I'm very pleased to come back to find my seedlings still with me. I put my younger daughter in charge of popping in and watering, as I say, popping in. I think she stayed 2 days. She didn't stay overnight, but I think she stayed 2 days and did all her laundry. I suppose she got some clean clothes now, so that's good. So they're all looking nice. So I've actually managed, this time I normally grow vegetables, but I'm going to have a go at growing flowers. Now, apart from one lot, which is the begonias, they've not come up yet. They still might, because I have got some, I tried to try and Google how to pronounce it, Kniphofia flowers. If you want to look that up, what I'll do is I'll just put a little list of the flowers in case you want to look them up if you're a keen gardener and want to think, oh, what's that? You know, what type of flower is that? Perhaps like some of those, or have a go at growing those, because I've managed to get all these seedlings up, and I'm quite impressed. So I've got some dahlias come up, these Kniphophias, Alyssum. Again, I'm not sure if that's how you actually pronounce it, but I'll write it out. So give the correct spelling and everything. 3 lots of tomatoes. They didn't look like they were coming through. I was, I think last video they had come through, but I was a bit concerned that they weren't coming for a while, and actually they're all the 3 types that I wanted have all come up, and I've got some spares, which I've got some friends that I can normally give the spares to, but I think I said I don't like throwing them away, so I haven't gone mad, because I've been known to have a full tray full and planted up the ones I want, and then have all these little seedlings that I haven't got a home for, and anyway, I don't like throwing them away, so I normally end up with lots. Some marigolds and some geraniums. So I'm hoping to have quite a bit of colour in the garden this year, which would be really nice. With April coming, I didn't want to do too much planting, knowing I was going away at the end of March, but I need to get going with a lot more seedlings through April, because I tried to do all the early ones that are on the packet that says, from February. Tried to get as many of the earlier ones done, and then a real month is this month to get some other seeds in, so I'll let you know about those next time for anybody that's a keen gardener out there. And we even mowed the lawn. That can't be bad. The weather we've been having has not been the best, but we had particularly some breezy days that were dry, and it dried all the grass off enough to be able to cut, so that was really good. So there's a job ticked. Tick. Okay, I think that's everything this time. I hope you have a good couple of weeks. I hope to be back 2 weeks today, and you get lots of crafting done. So yeah, happy crafting, happy knitting and sewing and crocheting, and any craft that you love to do. Enjoy. Okay, see you soon. Bye bye.